Good day, my name is Angelo. This is Nation Voice Tower, that channel that keeps you updated, gives you updates, and gives you all the necessary news you need to know about the Nigerian political space and outside Nigeria. Thanks for joining us. I would quickly tell you that there is no politician that is pure and transparent in Nigeria from what I have here. Yes, to that effect, it has been exposed how the present Osun State Governor, Senator Ademola Jackson Adeleke, allegedly spent 2 billion naira on meals and welfare packages. And then he also spent, it has been exposed how he also spent allegedly 6 billion naira in order to run his office operations in just 3 months. Well, I told you that lots of people who are known to the political space in Nigeria as very innocent politicians will be brought to book as long as I delve into their case. All right, and if I check it and I see that you have been found wanting in administration or in exercising your office duties, then you will be brought to book. That is how we work, and that is how it should be in Nigeria. All right. So because you are a governor does not mean you will not be probed. If you're not probed while you're on seat, you must be probed while you are away from seat or while you vacate office. So this expose will tell you how Governor Ademola Adeleke, the same Osun State governor who has always been seen as a messiah of Osun State, allegedly siphoned over 8 billion naira in different trenches for his personal needs. Nobody can spend 2 billion naira on feeding lawmakers or members of the governor's cabinet alone. No one. It's very hard for you to see somebody, a governor in Nigeria, spending 6 billion naira to run his office in 3 months. What did he use 6 billion for? What is 6 billion needed for in the governor's office? All right, so that is that. We will delve into this particular part of the investigation, and you will know firsthand. You will be given firsthand information on what is happening with proof of documents. Yes, because this proof is in the Osun State official website for Osun State. All right, the government house of Osun State. These details are there, and I'll be showing you documents to prove this particular thing I'm saying. Now, we are not saying 2 billion or 6 billion or 8 billion naira cannot be used, okay, for these purposes. But we are saying the inventory that has the list of what this 8 billion naira was used for is looking funny. It's far less than the money spent so far, all right? That means there are irreconcilable transactions somewhere. That means invariably, plus or minus, there was fraud. There was cash transactions, or there were amounts of money that were laundered to personal accounts. Obviously, all this money, 8 billion naira, was not used just on the state, just on lawmakers, and just on the governor's office in a space of 3 months. More than 6 billion naira was allegedly spent by Governor Ademola Adeleke of Osun State to run the office of the governor in 3 months. A copy of the state budget performance report seen by sources was revealed. According to state records, the amount is different from the 209 million naira spent on personal expenditure in the governor's office. All these were contained in the Osun State third quarter 2023 budget performance report on the state website, where the statements of income and expenditure for the period between July to September 2023 were displayed. These records provide information on the performance of the 2023 budget for the third quarter, July-September. It is prepared quarterly and published within 4 weeks, that is 28 days, of the end of each quarter. The report was actually posted on the state website. The Ministry of Economic Planning, Budget and Development developed a comprehensive revenue and expenditure framework during the preparation of the fiscal year 2023 budget. The implementation process of the fiscal year 2023 budget commenced on the 1st of January 2023 and will end on 31st of December 2023, as approved by the Osun State House of Assembly. On the 15th day of August 2023, the revised budget was approved by the State House of Assembly and assented by the Governor, His Excellency Senator Ademola Jackson Nuruddin Adeleke. The need for a revised budget is to allow the state government carry out activities which will make positive impact on the economy of the state. The Budget Implementation Committee reviews the budget performance on quarterly basis before publishing online. However, the Ministry of Economic Planning, Budget and Development has sustained efforts required to ensure improvements in public financial and resource management and activities in the state. This report further includes the approved budget appropriation, 2023 original budget, 2023 revised budget against each organizational unit for each of the core economic classification of expenditures, both personnel, overheads, capital, and others. The actual expenditures for the quarter 3, that is Q3, are attributed to each ministries, departments, and agencies, that is MDAs, as well as the cumulative expenditures for the year to date, and balances against each of the revenue and expenditure appropriations. The budget performance for quarter 3 reflects the actual inflow and outflow of resources in the state as the end of 2023 third quarter with respect to the 2023 revised estimates. According to the report, Adeleke's office alone gulped a whopping sum of 6,611,614,620.35 naira in just 3 months. The State House of Assembly also spent over 800 million naira within the same period. The Osun government also said it spent over 2 billion naira on refreshment and meals and welfare packages for its officials. In the breakdown, 1,759,466,120.21 naira was allegedly spent on welfare packages, while 456,401,074.13 naira was allegedly used for refreshment and meals. Also in the document, the government claimed another 400 million naira was allegedly used for publicity and advertisements. Okay, that is that. I will not say much on the Adeleke case because it just came up, and as it just came up, we are yet to see who would probe him, whether he will be probed in office or after office. This news is just few hours old, and I feel that because the public attention has not been drawn to it yet, that is why we are yet to have, lots of attention on it. But you are privileged to have the information firsthand. So whatever the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission are going to do, whether he's on seat or off seat or vacated from seat, then you will see to it in the coming years, all right? But it doesn't really shift off or wave off the fact that this particular transaction is looking dubious and needs to be looked into. The audit unit of the state, although they would also need the power and permission of the governor in order to audit his transactional records. So I will say categorically that only the anti-graft agencies will be able to probe these transactions and see to it if they cannot even meet up with the requirements or the amount of money spent on the actual inventory. They cannot meet up because it is far more than what was allegedly spent. Meals and running the office in 3 months, 8 billion. Wow, that's outrageous compared to what was spent or what it was written down for. All right. Yes. Secondly, over to Liberia elections. Yes, I would like to touch a part of the international scene. There have been elections. This is the same time of the year in Liberia, where the electoral season has come up again in the circle. Right, of course, the former president of Liberia, I beg your pardon, Mr. George Weah has stepped down or has accepted defeat for his counterpart or his political opponent, Joseph Boakai. All right. Now, former Nigerian diplomat, Mr. Joe Keshi, has also commended the action of former President of Liberia, George Weah, President of Nigeria, George Weah, for conceding defeat to his rival politician, all right? And he, according to Joe Keshi, this particular singular act deserves a big kudos, all right? Of course, according to Joe Keshi, he said that we need more of such leaders, great leaders, conceding defeat, not those confusing the masses with violence. Let you watch this former Nigerian diplomat, Mr. Joe Keshi, while he gave his opinion on the Liberian elections.
Well, in this case, I think it has more to do with the person and the character of the leadership. If the character was a political rascal who is crazy for power and wants to remain in office, you know, rather than being a good sportsman that he has always been, a great footballer, by the way, I think that we would have seen a different situation, you know, so we should congratulate him for being a good sportsman. And Liberia, you see, because if he has signaled that he was going to fight rough in order to retain, in order to be able to gain a second term, there are enough of political rascals all over the place that would definitely like to work with him to ensure that the process, you know, is not as peaceful as we have said. So at the end of the day, it depends on the person, the character, you know, the worldview and the determination of the leader itself to ensure that there's peace, harmony, and that election does not result in war and killing. And in the case of Liberia, they've gone through terrible times. And so for any leader to concede and decide that, look, I'm not going to fight, I'm not going to engineer people to fight, you know, just because of election, we must give them, you know, a big kudos for this. And for me, you know, my reaction was that anytime, you know, we've been talking about that democracy is receding in this part of the world, in the continent. But when you see things like this, once in a while, it gives you a ray of hope that, you know, if we can have more and more of such, you know, great leaders, you know, conceding defeats and not, you know, killing, ensuring that people are destroyed or killed and the electoral process doesn't go well, I think it gives us some hope that, well, democracy we might think it's receding, but there's certainly reasons to be hopeful.
Right, Mr. Joe Keshi there. Of course, if you've been following the international community or the African politics, you will know that in Liberia, there were elections, free and fair, because a sitting president was ousted from office or lost the elections. That is to tell you that somehow it was free and fair and credible to that for that matter. All right, George Weah, representing the Congress for Democratic Change, the CDC party in Liberia, conceded defeat after the collation of results, where Joseph Boakai of the Unity Party came up as, you know, victorious candidate of the presidential seat in Liberia. Well, the coalitions began 3 days ago, and with the coalition 3 days ago, Joseph Boakai was already winning even before the coalition ended, all right? But today it's been announced that Joe Boakai has emerged victorious and was returned elected over former President George Weah. Well, I'm not I don't feel afraid. I'm not panicking because Joseph Boakai has been an old politician in the business. He has been an old timer in the business. He was once the vice president, assisting President Allen when she was the Liberian president. All right. So he's actually an old hand, and he knows how well to, you know, to wield the economy of Liberia. So it's a win-win situation for Liberia, and that is why George Weah, I think, considered that defeat, because I think he trusts whoever is going to take off power from where he left it. All right. Hence the reason why he has come out to say the tussle for the presidency of Liberia is not just a one-man politics, but it's not just about the the focus on one man, but it's all about the welfare of Liberians. These were the verbatim words of former George Weah, former president of Liberia. Finally, Arise News analyst Professor Anthony Killer has opined that the democracy we practice in Nigeria over time is not working due to the fact that our elite leaders and our elites have failed, according to Professor Anthony Killer. He centered his point and his suggestions on conspiracy and insecurity. Please stay tuned for Arise News analyst Professor Anthony Killer.
To understand, to go to where General Obasanjo, Chief Obasanjo is going, let us start from the fact something he has missed out. And this is common of Nigerian observers, especially Nigerian leaders. We refuse to call out the fact that the problem we have with our democracy is not a system problem. It's a problem of individuals. You know, we say it as if the house or the room is hot because there is sun, as if it's a force of nature. We say it as if we're wet because it rained, you know, as if that is an inevitable fact. No, it is not true. If we want to solve our problem, I've said this elsewhere, let me say again, we need to understand that the people involved in the democracy are crooks and criminals. There are people who deliberately, you see, violence, election rigging, are not things that happen by accident. I want Nigerians to keep thinking about that. Some people decide that to get to office, they're willing to kill, they're willing to maim, they're willing to steal votes, they're willing to bribe. Those are crooks. We just need to call it what they are. That is the situation. That is not the behavior of gentlemen. That is not the behavior of people who want to serve. That is not the behavior of people who have a life, who say, let me help my fellow citizens, and if my fellow citizens don't want me, let me go home, go back to my business, my profession. That is the behavior of people who want to grab power at all means. So we need to understand that. That's a very crucial thing. But you see, you say practitioners of democracy, and you're right, and you know, you're a journalist, you're a technical person. Let me be more judgmental about it and more specific. And let me say, the democracy we have is not working because our elites have failed. It is a failure of the elites. It's a failure of leadership. It is a failure of police that cannot curb violence. Either because they're incompetent, either because they're conspiracy, they're part of it, but they're not able to curb violence. It is the failure of lawyers who bring vexatious cases to court. It is the failure of judges, that is the bar. It is also the failure of the bench that give judgment that fights with common sense. The law should be seen as fair and clear to all to understand. Any judgment that requires technicality to understand is an abuse of justice. It is a failure of people running for office who do not believe in persuasion, who do not believe that the voters are right, but they want to persuade them. It is a failure of those who have framed our constitution and our electoral law that refuse to understand that somebody so poor, so ignorant, should not be a deciding factor in election. It is a leadership failure. It is not democracy in itself.
All right, Anthony Killer there, with his opinion. I will say that was cool. That was awesome, because Anthony Killer has been someone who, when he gives his own analysis, he actually tries to hit the nail at the head, and he doesn't try to evade lots of cataracts and rapids, right, in analysis. So I will give it to him. He tried, but the truth is, we don't practice democracy in Nigeria. I think it should be dictatorship or something else, because democracy cannot just be, you know, seen, operated, or practiced like this, like the way the government is operating. Democracy is government of the people, by the people, and for the people, not having INEC bringing on the president that was not elected by the people, alongside other undemocratic activities that have been taking place right from the day Tinubu took over administration, and other undemocratic occurrences that have taken place over time, even before Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So I don't think we are practicing democracy in Nigeria. I think it should be something else. It's a different sort of government, not democracy. We call on the people who are involved to please change the mode of government. It was democracy we signed up for, not what we are having now, either dictatorship, monarchy, or whatever. I don't know what Bola Ahmed Tinubu is giving to us, but let's hope that this is the first year, and let's hope that things get better over time. Thank you so much for staying this far. Please like, share, watch till the end, and don't forget to drop a comment for us in the comment section, because all these things you do are under YouTube regulations, which they use to make us go viral to serve you better. See you next time. Bye.